I've now been hiking for over 100 days on the Hexatrek. The past couple of weeks I've been working my way through the Pyrenees Mountains, and the scenery has been incredible. I'm now 2,600 kilometers into this 3,000 kilometer hike through France, and I was halfway through the Pyrenees Mountains. I now only had just over 400 kilometers to get to the end in the Atlantic Ocean. Wild camping had been amazing on this section of the Hexatrek. I've been treated to some beautiful camping spots with mountain views, and the sunsets here are very special. Traversing the Pyrenees has had its challenges, the main one being the extreme amount of elevation I had to hike every single day. But with elevation comes beautiful mountain views. I was now on day 103 of hiking the Hexatrek, and I just started stage 6, the final stage of this epic trail. I had a lot of beautiful hiking days on the Hexatrek, but this day has got to be my favourite. With the unbelievable mountain views, the lakes to swim in to cool off, and the wildlife to watch, this day was a hiker's paradise. This is a vlog of my favourite day hiking the Hexatrek, day 103.
I love waking up in the morning in the mountains. So beautiful. And the sun's like so low in the sky, just completely blinding me. And there's my tent that you can see. It's in like a little valley, little V. So I couldn't hear the cow bells because all the cows are like down here. So I couldn't hear the cow bells when I was asleep, which was good. Time to pack up the tent now and continue on the Hexatrek. I'm starting to get a little bit excited about getting to the end of the trail. When I started this epic hike, it was just such a long distance. I couldn't even really think about getting to the end. And I've just broke it down into the stages, so it's really nice that the Hexatrek is split into 6 stages. You can sort of break down this long hike, makes it a lot more manageable. Now I'm in the last stage. I'm fully focused on the end of the trail and the Atlantic Ocean. It's a beautiful morning again. So lucky with the weather here in the Pyrenees. It's currently the 2nd of October, and I really thought the weather would be a lot colder, a lot more unsettled than this in the autumn in the Pyrenees, but it seems to just be a heat wave at the moment. The days are about 30 degrees and it's just no wind, and it's been like this for about a week now. It just makes it a lot easier hiking in the mountains when the weather is nice. That's great. I've just come across a natural spring coming out of the mountain, which is good because I only have a little bit of water.
I was now fully hydrated and I made it to the top of the first climb of the day. This is when I entered the Vial Nature Reserve. I didn't realise it at the time, but this was the most beautiful nature reserve I'd ever hiked through.
Well, that was a bit anticlimactic. On the map it said there's a big lake here, and as you can see down here it's just completely dry. I was expecting a nice, beautiful turquoise blue lake, but nope, it's just a dry lake. Now the trail works its way down along half of this lake and then straight up here, which is a 450-meter climb. And there should be a couple more lakes coming today. Hopefully they have water in. Now made it to the other side of the big dry lake. It's a shame, this would be really beautiful if it had water in. And I'm now about to do a 450-meter climb. Made it to the top. I like how they always have a post that tells you the altitude. 2,260 meters. Whew. I've been hiking for just over 100 days now, and I've built up quite a lot of leg strength, but it doesn't make these climbs any easier. But it's absolutely breathtaking up here.
This is when the Near Veal Nature Reserve started to get insanely beautiful. Even though it was autumn and I was at high altitude, the temperature today was still in the high 20s. With the amount of lakes on this section and the hot weather, I kind of only had one thing on my mind at this point: find a lake and jump in. As I floated around in the beautiful turquoise water, I didn't realise how many little fish were in this lake. After drying off, I sat by the lake and had some lunch and just soaked in the scenery. I then chucked a small piece of bread in for the fish and I couldn't believe how many there were. It was very cool to sit here and watch all these beautiful fish.
This part of the Hexatrek is just unbelievably beautiful. So picturesque, and it just looks like a postcard. Overall, it's been pretty tough hiking. Over 100 days. Solo hiking is a lot different to hiking with a friend or a partner. There's a lot more challenges, I think, when you're hiking solo, and one of the biggest challenges I've had is probably just motivation. Sometimes I just get up out of my tent and I'm just don't feel like hiking, but I've battled through, and now I'm in the last stage of the Hexatrek and I can see the finish line, just 400 kilometers to go. And being in this kind of scenery as well, these mountains are just absolutely incredible. I've got high motivation at the moment and I'm very much enjoying every day being in the mountains, but that's definitely one of the biggest challenges of doing such a long distance hike, is just having days of low motivation. But you just got to keep plodding on, keep putting one foot in front of the other, and eventually you'll get to where you want to be. I think there's a life lesson in there somewhere. And this lake is incredible, and I've now got a 300-meter climb, and most days the climbs have been about 1,000 meters, but today they've just been 300 meters up, 300 meters down, 400 meters up, 400 meters down, which is not too bad. When you get the 1,000 meters up climbs that take like 3 or 4 hours to climb up, they're really tough. But today is very, very nice. Just being absolutely spoiled today. It's another incredible lake. Wow, I think today is probably one of the most scenic days in the Pyrenees so far. It's been awesome, but today's just been panoramic view after incredible lake.
There's so many rocky, scrambly parts like this in the Pyrenees, and on these sections you have to be so careful not to roll an ankle and injure yourself. That's the last thing you want to do when you're in the middle of nowhere on a through hike by yourself in the mountains. I always take it very slow on these sections, and I'm very careful where I put my feet. After lots more climbing, I was now just over 2,500 meters in elevation, and I was just in awe of the scenery that I was hiking through.
I've actually lost count at how many lakes I've gone past today. Unbelievable. And it's a bit awkward with accommodation now going forward, because I normally get onto a campsite or like a cheaper hostel or cheap accommodation once every sort of 6 or 7 days or so. And the only reason for that is just to charge up my power banks, really, just for power reasons. And there's a lot of campsites up ahead. There's got to be about 6 campsites within a very small distance of each other, and they're all closed, and a lot of the mountain refuges are all closed as well. So a lot of accommodations closed for the season, closed at the end of September, and I'm now into October, so it's going to be a bit tricky. There's a town coming up tomorrow that's in about 15 kilometers, and I found a relatively cheap apartment there to rent on booking.com, but obviously it's not as cheap as a campsite, so it has to be done. My power bank is now on about 20%, so I have to find accommodation, and I thought I'd treat myself to an apartment because it has a washing machine as well, so that's a bit of a bonus. I'm gonna try and find somewhere to camp very soon.
I really enjoy looking for somewhere to wild camp every night. I'm always on the hunt for a flat piece of grass with a beautiful view.
I'm all set up now. It's 7:30. It's gonna be dark in about 45 minutes or so. And I made it just over 14 miles, so about 23 kilometers today. I've been taking it very easy. With the scenery being so beautiful, I don't want to rush through this kind of landscape, and I have an apartment booked for tomorrow in about 10 miles, so it didn't make sense to really go too fast today. It's just so peaceful here in the mountains. I absolutely love camping, especially in the wilderness like this. And if I didn't have to get charged for my power bank, I would wild camp every single night. And if you enjoy following along on my adventures, click the subscribe button to be notified of my future uploads. That'd be much appreciated, and thanks for watching. See you in the next one.